If you've never listened to Plant Talk Radio, our weekly gardening program hosted by Fred Hauer, you really should take a listen to the whole show. You can go to our website at planttalkradio.com and listen, or subscribe to the show on iTunes. Here's today's question.
Our next email that came into planttalkradio.com came from Kenny, and Kenny says, my garden is about 30 by 30 feet. I'd like to try my hand at drip irrigation. Is there an inexpensive way I could put this in myself?
Well, the answer is yes, and I think even though you'll be paying, let's just say, for somebody else's innovation and packaging and so on, I would definitely head off to the garden center. You can buy kits. Now, I don't know in that 30 by 30 how many kits he would have to buy, but what he'd be buying would be the tubing that carries the water from point of source on into the garden. And then he would be buying or having with that little tiny, it depends kind of how it's put together, but a little tiny tube, something probably in the neighborhood of 1/8 of an inch thick as compared to the 1/2 inch thick that gets the water into the garden. And then the drip would take place over near. And therein lies the trick to it. If the garden area is at all tilted, then I would put the dripper on the upside, if there is such a thing. Otherwise, it can be flat. You can put two drips, two irrigators on one plant, one on either side. It'll depend quite on what he's trying to do, but usually one will be quite sufficient. It's a very significant operation. It takes a little while to install. I would definitely start as a kit unless he's very handy and can do sizing and so on. That I would also recommend a water timer that goes on the faucet, then hook up the lead hose into the garden so that he can control that even when he's gone. And then he's going to save money in water and really deal with a goodly amount of plant growth because of doing this. I know nurserymen who went into many, many acres when water was so scarce several years ago. They spent, mega thousands of dollars on these systems. But I know in one guy's case, he had a great big pond, and it used to take, I'm going to say, a 2-foot drawdown on that pond to irrigate X number of acres. When he got the system in, for this purpose, I think he could get everything watered quite nicely with, I think, a 4 or 5 inch drawdown, which is a considerable savings in water. And then there's very limited loss to evaporation. It goes directly into the ground. It will, as a point of source on the surface, it'll only show maybe a 3 or 4 inch wide, but then as it goes down in the ground, it'll spread out to as much as a foot or so. Depends on the soil, but I'd recommend he do it. And I would recommend either starting with a kit or go see how the kits are made up and make his own. But I think it's best if he just buys in, because it's going to end up saving a lot in the long run.